Tuesday, October 14th at the Rio Grande City Family and Community Engagement Center, somewhere in Fort Ringgold at high noon. The infamous Baltazar Salzar squares up with Team Stoopid, led by none other than Butterfly Doctor, Dr. B. They wanted Baltazar Salazar to represent them so bad that they did everything they could to shove their choice, their change, down the people's throats. We watched as they consistently denied being in the wrong, and like spoiled children, they got their way. They treated him as a personal attorney, using him to find loopholes and weaknesses in the processes and procedures so that they could get their way. And they were the ones that set and approved his rates. They decided that the rates he is being paid at in the present were acceptable. Like they decided that the energy savings plan that they purchased was somehow going to save money, but it doesn't. Like they decided to purchase an unpopular software program by Liberty Solutions. Tango, as it is called, cost $250,000. Like they decided to build a swimming pool right next to the freaking highway that to the day is nothing more than a hole in the ground and incomplete. Like they decided to approve to continue to pay Bernice Garza a salary that is greater than a teacher's salary, and she doesn't even have to show up to go to work. They reshuffled the board a couple of months back, and they decided to take it upon themselves that Eleazar Velasquez, a man who should by now know his role and the rules he is supposed to enforce as president. Instead, they got what they wanted. A man who comes off as a buffoon, a man who comes off as a moron. I expect better from someone that is elected to be a board member and then chosen to be president. I expected him to have the capacity to take charge and control Dr. B when she was completely out of line. He should have known the rules like the back of his hand. There aren't too many rules to follow. Regardless, the board was reshuffled to place Eleazar as president. They hired Baltazar as the school attorney, as in the case of Clarissa B. Alvarez in Roma, who after being invited by Leti Garza Galvan experienced a negative reaction from Leti Rata Galvan and her supporters the moment she, Clarissa, began to ask questions. We see a more vicious form of retaliation when Baltazar begins to act independent of team "we don't know what the hell we're doing, but we know we need your money." These members are Eleazar, someone remind me what I am doing here, Velasquez, Leti, Pino's Pizza Hustle Lopez, and Danny, excuse me while I prepare for my federal court hearing, and I'm sorry I look like Marty without makeup, Garcia. And of course, the star of this whole fiasco, Dr. Be quiet while I spout off at the top of my lungs at 100 words a second. Really don't care if y'all hear me. Just watch my eyes grow with my hatred for children and taxpayers. Just put the damn Medicare money and the attorney money in my Butterfly Hustle bank account so I can give y'all teddy bears. Let me do my thing. Leave me be, Dr. B. The Bernice reveal was a turning point. After Baltazar tried to silence the board on the matter of one of Bernice Freeloader Garza, it appears as though Baltazar realized that he was wrong, and he conceded the point to Bacho. In the meeting that followed, he apparently seemed to realize that he was the school attorney and not Team Energy Savers attorney. He appears to be working with Bacho and trying to reduce the amount of money being paid in legal fees when he proposes an optional form of compensation. Rather than the high rates that were given to him by Team Butterfly Hustle Pocket Money Change, he suggests a salary type of compensation. Bacho made the statement that he was certain Baltazar was going to save the school money in a challenging sort of way, kind of being a little bit sarcastic. Baltazar assured Bacho that his intent was to save the school money. In the following meeting, they tried to have him removed. Him, Baltazar Salazar. They forced a presentation on the board and the public that was produced by the CFO under the instruction of the superintendent, possibly, but definitely instructed by Dr. B in order to respond to Bacho's question from the previous meeting. All of a sudden, Dr. B really cares about Bacho's questions from the previous meetings. The problem is that aside from the fact that she's full of it, the problem is that some of the current fees were not included in the presentation, and the presentation was used to showcase the fees that Dr. B and company had accepted for Baltazar so long as Baltazar was doing their bidding. Instead, what we are seeing is exactly what the DA Omar Escobar said in one of our interviews. He said it was needed when providing a service to the public, and that it is a person's independence and a moral compass. What we are seeing is Dr. B and company punishing Baltazar. This is retribution. This is vengeance. This is revenge for him placing the needs of the district before the needs of the people, using attorneys to funnel money out of the school and possibly into the pockets of political supporters. Inevitably, if Baltazar gets fired, they will have to hire a new attorney. What will the new attorney's fees be? We know what the fees were for Baltazar when they chose him to represent them. They will choose someone who is loyal to them and not to the kids nor to the district, and who will possibly place more money to the campaign for Gocha, who in the last quarter outspent Omar Escobar 10-1. Okay, all right, but let's say that I have grown too big of a bias for Omar Escobar, and that I am influenced by this bias, and Gocha's campaign has absolutely nothing to do with this decision coming from Dr. B and company. All right, let's play this game. We can't ignore that upon firing Baltazar, the same people that brought him in are provoking a seasoned lawyer to sue the school. Think about this for a second. Imagine the discovery and the information that will become available as the frivolous school board experiences the full wrath of a man who has already recovered from his previous mistakes in life. A man whose livelihood is on the line and will fight with every fiber of his being to defend his name and his ability. He is justified this time around. He has become independent and righteous by what we have seen. There's a huge difference between fighting against what is right and fighting a fight wherein a person finds the purest form of conviction, knowing against all accusations and knowing against everything that is attempting to condemn the person is false. He will have his day in court and he will not settle. He knows he will have it won from the start. He will be in a position to expose everything that the public would want to see, but at an astronomical cost to the voter, to the taxpayer. The taxpayer will end up paying for the defense of the school. They could potentially pay for the cost of Baltazar's legal fees. And ultimately, and with certainty, the taxpayers will pay for a judgment on the case. Baltazar would have no reason to settle on some petty amount. He is the guy that normally tells clients to settle to avoid the gamble of a judgment producing less. But this is going to be his case. This is going to be his wrath. Today's meeting, scheduled for noon at the Family and Community Engagement Center, is going to be one not to miss. This one, who knows what the hell's going to happen. This will be remembered as the time Dr. B forced yet another unnecessary hit to the general fund. This is where the money for raises comes from. So you really got to pay attention and make a choice, make a decision. We need to go. We need to get up, go out there. We need to be vocal on this decision. We need to communicate to the board on an individual basis if we have to, that it is not something that the public needs or wants. You have to seriously think about this. It's going to have some consequences. We need to make sure they understand and know the rules and who they are working for. Eleazar Velasquez, if you're not embarrassed for not knowing the rules of the very thing that you were supposed to be in control of, then you should be. If you don't have the capacity to bring order to the school board meetings, then what in the hell are you doing there, son? Step down, move aside, get out of the way. You are a part of the problem and not the solution. We are watching. We will remember you, and you will be remembered for being incompetent. So you got to take the time and think about this. This is happening right now. It's happening today. At noon, these people are going to provoke the lawyer, Baltazar Salazar, that they chose, they brought in, they accepted his rates, and they're going to fire him because now they think he's being paid too much. Whoever made the decision to pay him $25 to answer a text, well, That was them. Why are they now all of a sudden in a position where they want to fire him? Well, it's simple. We exposed Bernice. He allowed it to happen. He was incompetent in their eyes. He was unable to stop that information from leaking out. Not only that, but on top of that, the man grows a conscience. He turns and becomes someone who was on the side of the taxpayer and the voters, and now he's being punished. We really need to pay attention to these things. We really need to go out there. We really need to show these people that this sort of behavior cannot be accepted any longer.
Invoice, that maybe it was a misunderstanding, that maybe what Ms. Gatsa said, what Pachi said, Ms. Lopez, what Mr. said. So we've actually ironed this out. Ms. Gatsa and I are okay with it. We said maybe there is, maybe we could have better practices. And my recommendation was that you call up and you let me know that the invoice is incorrect. I'll send you the invoice. I just want the public to know, the board, that I've tried to work this out, and Ms. Gatsa and I think, have an agreement that it was a misunderstanding, but I don't like being attacked. I was not. But anyway, I just want to let the board know that I have tried to do this.
I do want to clarify something. We did speak. I don't think that Mr. Baltazar has proven to me that we can continue this relationship. I do want to remind everyone that Baltazar is the school board attorney, not the school administration attorney. So therefore, I will seek another attorney for my school business.
Ms. Gatsa, before you pick that attorney, you have to bring it to the board. Correct?
Okay.
I feel we have made a terrible mistake.
Somebody do something relating to bees.
What's this? An overabundance of bees in the workplace? My briefcase full of bees ought to put a stop to that. The situation has only been made worse with the addition of yet more bees. Later, that very same bee at the annual bee convention, the world's single largest gathering of bees.
Well, Christine, I'd say that the lack of all and any bees at this event has been somewhat of a letdown. Isn't there anyone who can help?